Welcome back into another episode of Bro Therapy with Bass and the Bear, presented by Marine South and our good buddy Clay Harden. I am Bryce Sparling. I am the Bear. Here, as always, my co-star Casey Bass. Casey, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, homie?
Dude, how was your first week of your new job, man?
It was good. It's boring first week stuff, right? Like onboarding processes and trying to learn all the stuff. And it's a new industry for me. It's sales, which I know how to do. But it's a new industry, and so learning all that stuff. But I love the people that I work with. It's a very small, it's a big company, but it's a small branch with a really nice territory that I'm excited about, that I'm very familiar with. But the people that I work with are awesome. We get along really well. There's a great mix of personalities. It's a very healthy milieu, and that's very important to me. At this point in my life, I really just want to enjoy going to work.
Yeah.
And I have enjoyed going to work all week. So, but I'm ready for the weekend. It's been a
week. It makes the weekend a little bit more special when you got a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday type job.
You seem to be feeling better. I listened to the world's saddest podcast, you and Billy, on Wednesday, and I just wanted to give you a hug, dude. You sounded terrible.
Not good. Not good. I didn't have much of a voice this week due to me thinking that I'm still 21 years old. And having a little bit too much fun on Memorial Day on Monday and paying for it and realizing that old Brian, he ain't 21 anymore.
It takes him more than one day to recover.
Yeah. It took a couple days to recover. I didn't realize how much I had until I woke up the next morning. And Emily was like, "Why did you drink so much?" I was like, "I didn't think I did." And she was like, "Yeah, you're sort of going pretty hard out here." So yeah, it took me a couple days to recover, but don't worry, I have my good buddy Mr. Beer here, and he's gonna help me recover.
I'm gonna have one when we get done here. Maybe I should just get one right now, and we can have a Friday, because we're doing this Friday after work right now. Hold on a second. Let me tell you something. You know what she just said?
What's that?
Will do.
Will do. So that made me think. So a couple weeks ago, we had a Father Sunday. I took him golfing. I talked about this in the podcast. So my daughter was a little upset. So the last week of school for her, I checked her out of school on Wednesday, and we had a daddy-daughter day. We went and got stuff at got stuff.
Come around and wave. Come around and wave at the people.
That's awesome. Wave at everybody.
Back to the anime. Shoo.
So we had a daddy-daughter day, and we went to Publix. Oh, you can't beat Miller High Life. That's good.
Listen, do not tell El Presidente that I just got the champagne of beers on our keyboard here.
Oh no.
I'll fix it.
The only reason I'm drinking this is because my wife bought this. I'm not a light beer guy. I'm not nothing if anybody's ever seen me in real life, screams light beer. Miller High.
I went to jail for this one time. I'll tell you that story later.
But so
remind me, I got to tell the story now, because people are like, "What in the world?" It's a good one. You'll like it. Continue. Sorry.
So anyway, we go to Publix. We're gonna have a picnic. We're gonna go to Gold Dust Park and have a little picnic, have a daddy-daughter day. We're out there picking up stuff, getting chips. Yeah. And so we're going to check out. I'm like, "Hey, do you want to get something to drink, like an orange juice or a lemonade or something?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, I'll get something to drink." She goes, "Dad, no beer." I was like, "Baby, we're going to a public park. I'm not going to bring a 6-pack in there for a picnic at noon." I was like, "Thanks a lot."
All right.
Dad, no beer.
July 4th. Ooh. 2099, 2000, I don't know, sometime in there. Okay. I'm at Southern, and everybody's like, "Let's go to." I stayed because I worked the summers, and it was a ghost town. So me and some of my friends went to Tybee on July 4th, right? Yeah. Bought a flat of what we call Shampibbles, which are the 7-ounce Miller High Lifes. Have you seen them?
No, I don't think I've ever seen a 7-ounce Miller High Life.
Okay, well, you were uncultured then.
7-ounce Miller High Life.
They come in flats, 24.
Huh.
7-ounce Miller High Lights in a glass bottle, twist off cap. Get really cold. I mean, imagine a little bitty glass bottle get really cold, and there's nothing better than an ice cold High Life, in my opinion.
Yeah,
love them. So we put them in a cooler with some solos. We get to the beach. We go down to the beach, set up the chairs. There's like 5 or 6 of us. I sit down first. I open the cooler up. I reach in. I get a solo cup. I get a champagne. I open up, pour it in a solo cup, get another one, pour it in the same solo cup, hand it to my friend Celeste. Repeat process, hand it to one of my boys. Repeat process. And as I do the third time, I get a tap on my shoulder. Now, I've been at the beach 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Cop. In uniform police officer. I'm not going to say how old I was, but I immediately panicked.
Yeah.
But I played cool. And at this point, I haven't had a drink. I haven't had a sip.
Just
I've been serving.
Yeah.
And as I poured the thing, I put the bottle back into the cooler. And he says, come with me. I was like, oh, crap. So I get up and walk off. Well, what I didn't realize was nobody saw it happen. They were all looking somewhere else. Nobody knew where I went. He takes me up. The Tybee Island police are notoriously awful. Uncle Don got a ticket on Tybee Island one time. Do you know what he got it for?
What?
Backing into a parking spot.
How do you get a ticket for that?
It's against the law on Tybee Island because Tybee Island believes the only way to make money is to just absolutely rake your tourists over the coals.
It's illegal to back into a parking spot in Tybee Island?
It was in the 80s. Uncle Don got a ticket.
What?
My grandparents used to live, his in-laws lived in Savannah. And so we would go to Tybee all the time. And he got a ticket for backing into a spot.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So anyway, the guy says, hey man, it's illegal to have glass bottles on the beach. I said, brother, I didn't know. I'll take it back to the car. Now, I was taking it out of the cooler and putting it right back in the cooler. We were drinking from plastic cups.
Yeah.
Or they were. I wasn't. And he goes, well, it's a $150 ticket. And I was like, gosh, money. I was like, all right, well, do I just mail you a check? He said, no, you got to pay me now. And I said, well, I'm at the beach, so I don't have my wallet, but my truck's over there. Can I go get my wallet? He was like, no. I said, well, can you just walk me like 200 yards to my truck? I can get the money. I can write you a check. No. Takes me to jail.
For a $100 ticket?
Yes. Took me to jail. I'll go in, puts me in a holding cell, takes my fingerprints, does my mug shot, the whole deal. I'm just sitting there.
You sure this wasn't in Louisville, right outside of Valhalla?
So eventually, and then I'm like, hey, can I get a phone call, please? They're like, yeah, but you can't call collect. The collect doesn't work. You can only call on the island. I don't know anybody with the Tybee Island phone number.
Yeah. What is there, 6 phones in Tybee Island?
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking. And at the time, I worked at the Hampton Inn in Statesboro. And so I'm like, all right, give me the phone. I got a phone book. I call the Hampton Inn in Tybee Island, talk to the girl at the front desk, get her to patch me through to Statesboro. One of my friends was working the front desk. Tell her what's going on and say, can you get in touch with one of these people? I list who I was with.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the phone,
there's like no cell phones, so you can't like call somebody if they're at the beach on their cell phone or something.
We had cell phones were a thing, but they weren't a thing.
Yeah, like I don't remember
free nights and weekends. It was free nights and weekends territory, and there wasn't a signal on Tybee Island.
It wasn't, and it's not like it's glued to you 24/7 like the cell phones are now. Like, yeah,
no, nobody had them on the beach with them. There wasn't music or anything or cameras or anything on them. So, right then the door opens to the precinct. This is a precinct. Like I'm on TV. You walk into this place, big block building with 2 holding cells, and I'm in one of them. Sounds like there's nothing in the cell. There's no toilet. There's no sink. There's no chair. There's no bed. It is Barney Fife, man. It is a cell.
It's just walls.
Yeah, I've never been in trouble I've been in trouble with the belt to my dad, but I've never like really been in trouble other than one day I'll tell you a story about the time the cops caught me rolling the youth pastor's house, but that's a whole nother one. So door opens. Here they come in with another prisoner handcuffed. It's my friend Celeste. They popped her for underage drinking.
Oh, no.
She is barefoot in a bikini. She is blonde hair, fair skin, and she is sunburned.
Oof.
Because they have had her sitting out on the car waiting to be taken. She's gotten sunburned sitting there. So she walks in and she's crying and she sees me. They put her in the cell next to me. So she's now got a sunburn and sitting on a hard floor. She gets really cold. Now I'm getting mad. She's my friend.
Yeah.
Like legit, like one of my best friends. Love her. Love her. So I end up, just raising Cain about, do you know who my dad is? Basically, I turned my butcher of a father, my dad, who at the time was maybe the Lance Cracker Man in his second career, into the district attorney of Houston County. And I haven't had a sip of alcohol, but I'm just trying to get out, right?
Just do whatever you can.
Celeste has got a $600 ticket. I've got a $150 ticket. They wouldn't let her get her checkbook either. And so fine, I'm just like, let me talk to the boss. Whoever's in charge around here, let me talk to him because my dad is going to cause a stink and it is not going to be worth it. I promise. Basically, what I was saying was my dad's a public official, which he wasn't. Yeah. I'm going to pay this ticket, right?
Yeah.
Just let me out. I will pay you. Finally, the chief of police comes in, old man. And I said, hey, come here. Laid into him. This is what's going on. Your guys they've drug us off the beach. They won't let me pay. I'm trying to pay. And I said, keep her here. Let me go. She's my friend. I will go get a check. I will come back. I will write you a check for both of us and we can leave.
Yeah.
This guy finally is like, this dude isn't worth this. Lets us both go. Says, bring me a check back. So we open the door. They let us out. And it's like the strip club scene in Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues, yeah.
And we come out and the sun's shining and we're in the middle of the island. Like, we don't know where we are. So we just start walking down the street towards what we think is where we were.
I think the ocean is that way.
Yeah, I think the beach is that way. So we just start walking. She's been crying for 2 hours, poor girl. She's barefoot. I'm barefoot. We're both barefoot. I had a shirt on, which I ended up giving her. So I'm walking barefoot in my bathing suit. She's wearing my shirt because she's burnt. And after about 3 minutes of walking, our friends drive by who had no clue where either one of us were. They popped her and they didn't know where. They were like ninja arresting people. But the only two people who got arrested that day were us. So
it's like y'all disappeared in thin air.
And I didn't get an underage ticket. I won't tell you why, but Jason Reeves got a different story. And maybe a mugshot that doesn't match his face. But if I ever commit a murder, Reeves is going to jail.
Reeves is going to get booked for it.
Yeah. So Celeste gets a checkbook. She writes a check and it was all over with. But it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. We got there like 9 a.m. And the whole 4th of July is just ruined. We go to River Street and do whatever. I was just out of it. It was no good. But it was all because of the champagne of beers. Champibbles, Miller High Life.
Gets you into trouble. Yep. Gets into trouble. I only have really one rant for today. And it's not going to be terribly in depth or long or really anything. It's just something that pisses me off. And I didn't realize how bad it pissed me off. And until this week, it really pissed me off. A lot of my rants are they're like half and half. Like 50% are about NASCAR, and I could go on a rant about that, but I won't.
And 50% are just trying to get me going.
Well, that's true. And traffic. Traffic is my other. I am not a. I always said if I've ever become a multimillionaire, I'm gonna ride around in whatever vehicle I have with a sack of bricks. And every time someone pisses me off, I'm going to go up and throw a brick through their front window.
That's very aggressive. Why not just get a helicopter?
No, because then people won't understand that they're stupid and people need to be taught a lesson. And I'm going to do that with bricks through a windshield. And if I was a multi-million-dollar guy, I can just, hey, here's, a couple $1,000s to get a new windshield and, take care of everything. But learn a lesson here, pal. All right. I'm the Batman of traffic. Okay. I'm a vigilante. I'm going out there and helping people. So what pissed me off? What pissed me off this week? And I didn't realize how much it pissed me off until they built the new Publix in Villa Rica. It's awesome, man. It's big, it's nice, it's clean. It's even better than the Publix we had. And the Publix we had.
The Publix you had was terrible.
It
was terrible.
No,
Bryce. I am a grocery store connoisseur. I'm a grocery store connoisseur, and I love Publix. The Publix in Villa Rica, 20 years ago was good.
All right, so Publix, the Publix we have, you have to realize, we've never been a Publix shopping family. When we lived in Douglasville and everywhere we lived, we've always been Piggly Wiggly, Ingles, Food Depot, or the Kroger's on Hospital Drive. So Publix is sort of you're drinking the champagne of beer.
It's
Publix is the
fancy.
champagne of grocery stores.
Right.
So we like this Publix, especially because of their wings and food and everything. So they built a new one. It's nice. It's big. Whatever. It's clean. Publix parking lot, everything is one way. When you go down to park, everything has an arrow pointing one way, and all their parking spaces are angled one way. So you go down this way, it's angled in, so you just pull in like that. There's only one way. It's supposed to help traffic flow. Every time I have been to the new Publix, I have almost got into a front in collision with some jackass that has no idea what a one-way street is, or that the arrows pointing this way means you don't drive this way down the road. It pisses me off to no end because it just means you're either stupid or careless or a combination of both, and it aggravates me to my core. And I don't
Because
know.
you can't park if you're going that direction. You
No,
can't.
you can't park. No. I don't know what you're doing or where you're going or why you would do that. Are you stupid? Or are you trying to piss people off intentionally? Like, or are you just out of it and you're not paying attention? That's even more dangerous that you're driving on the road.
Right.
It infuriates me, man. Like, pay attention to what you're doing, but don't be an asshole. I mean, so many things that piss me off can just be boiled down to don't be an asshole and just be aware of your surroundings. Like, don't go the wrong way. Don't go the wrong way. There's
All
arrows.
right.
There's arrows.
Back to your grocery store stuff. So here's what you need to understand. Because I have a very specific brand of nerddom that involves grocery stores. I grew up in a grocery store. That's
It's a
home
very
to me.
niche market there.
I'm very upset. For instance, I am livid. My favorite grocery store in the world was the Piggly Wiggly on Edisto Island, South Carolina. You and I have talked about Edisto Island, South Carolina. I will be there in a month and a half. I can't wait.
Nice.
And that Piggly Wiggly, tiny. It had the office in the front that was elevated. It just reminded me of being a kid. It reminded me of the Hinesville Piggly Wiggly where my dad was the meat cutter when I was a youngin', and the bus would drop me off, and the old ladies in the deli would feed me tater logs, and I would just wander the place until it was time to leave.
Dude.
Like, it was a childhood. I literally grew up in a grocery store, okay? And I love them. It's my happy place. I go like every day to the grocery store. Publix is a Florida-based company. Ingles is a North Carolina-based company.
Mhm.
And there are two different kinds of Publixes
Yes.
and Ingleses.
Yes, for sure.
Florida Publixes, and then there's the rest of the Publixes. I don't know what the plural for Publi.
Publi?
I don't know. And then there's North Carolina Ingles, which are the king of all grocery stores, in my opinion. You cannot beat a North Carolina Ingles. And then there's the rest of the Ingleses.
Yeah.
We, in Bremen and in Temple, we have North Carolina Ingles Light. They're way better than the rest of the Ingleses that aren't North Carolina Ingles. They're really close to being the North Carolina Ingles.
Okay.
Villa Rica was the king of the Publixes that aren't in Florida. Like, it was, and it just got old and dark. It did not feel like a Publix. It needed a refresh. And I'm just letting you know that this weekend, most likely, I will make a pilgrimage to the Ingles. I went a couple of weeks ago and drove through the parking lot, and they weren't open yet. I was going to go in. I was excited.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to go check out the new Publix in Villa Rica. I really am. Like, I get fired up about grocery stores, man. Anyway, Edisto Island, the Piggly Wiggly got bought out by Food Line, which is the worst of all grocery stores.
I didn't even know Food Line was still in business.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Wow.
I hate Food Line.
We had
Food
one
Line
of those down in Albany.
Garbage. Now, an unpopular opinion that I also have is that very close to them at the bottom is Kroger. Do not like her. The Kroger in Carrollton makes me want to climb to the roof and jump off of it. Hate that grocery store. It's my least favorite grocery store on earth. But anyway, it got bought out by Food Line. They took the office out up front. They narrowed the aisles, which were already this grocery store is like the size of my house.
Yeah.
Price. It's tiny. And it just doesn't have the feel. Like, we're, for the first time ever this year, I've already looked on the map. We are buying groceries before we get on the island because
Not
I don't
wait,
want to go.
not waiting
I
till you
don't
get
want
to
to
the
go to the
Piggly
grocery
Wiggly.
store. It makes me
Ah,
so mad. It
it
makes me
stinks,
so
dude.
sad.
I hate that.
Yeah.
So speaking of Edisto Island, we used to go to Jekyll a long, long time ago before it was what is what it is now. And they used to have an IGA there, and it was just it was a dude that's like lived on Jekyll for forever, and like they didn't have much, but they had everything you needed. Like they probably only had it was I don't know, maybe it had 6 aisles, maybe 6 aisles, but they had every milk, bread, peanut butter and jelly. They had everything you needed, and sometimes you can go in there. Sometimes you have fresh fish. Sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes during the summer they would homemade ice cream. They would come in there with homemade ice cream, and you could get a scoop or two of like the homemade ice cream that he made at home and just brought up there in a cooler. Uh,
Turned.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love those little IGA. I don't even know if it's there anymore, man. Jekyll Island is
It's
from what
different.
I've heard, it's completely changed, and I'm a little nervous about going back because that place holds a very special place in my heart. Jekyll Island does. We spent a lot of time at Jekyll Island.
IGA is a conglomeration of independent grocery stores.
Mm,
Is what IGA is. I think IGA actually stands for Independent Grocery Store Association.
yeah.
Is what it stands for. So every IGA is different,
Mm.
which is great,
It's the
right?
cool
Like
thing about them.
every single one is different, and you get a hodgepodge of different name brands and different store brands, and
Yeah.
I love an IGA. Love them.
I wonder if
There's
there's an
one in
IGA.
Destin. There's an IGA
No
in Destin.
way. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
down on the beach. It's a
What?
big. It's the biggest IGA I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't even know how to. I've been. It's been several years, but it's towards the Panama City side of the beach, like about as far as you can go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, on the actual 38 beach side. But yeah, there's IGA down there that I go to because the Publix takes forever to get to because of traffic, and you can get to the IGA, which used to be an IGA, or maybe a Winn Dixie. You know what? It may be a Winn Dixie, Bryce, not an IGA.
An
Which
IGA.
IGA and Winn Dixie are cousins. Also a fan of the Winn Dixie. I think it's a Winn Dixie. Now that I think about it,
Okay.
I think. But
I was
it's
trying to
just
look and see
I
if
can
there was
get
a
there in
close
3 minutes.
IGA with us, but it doesn't look like there's anything close to here. Yeah, but like you said, they're all independent, so they're all different. They're
Yeah.
all unique in their own way. That's what I like about those things. But you're
Do
gonna
you
love the
think?
Publix. You're gonna love the new Publix.
I'm going this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I will check in with you next week. We will discuss the Publix,
Mm.
and people will be just beating their head on the counter saying, "Casey, shut up about grocery stores." Because it's like I have the weirdest fandoms, right? I love presidential biographies and autobiographies, the Counting Crows, High Fidelity, and grocery stores,
Paramore.
and the Georgia Southern Eagles and Paramore. Like I'm an odd dude. Anyway, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm going to read how I wrote this down.
Okay.
This was last week. We didn't get to it. And I don't know what mental state I was in when I wrote this. Are making pancakes a dad thing? I've discovered silver dollar pancakes thanks to my daughter. One of the things that got me thinking about this was do you follow Bob Does Sports on TikTok?
Probably. I would have probably.
He's a great guy who talks a lot about bagels, and he's like the polite heckler on the PGA Tour.
Yes.
He's like friends with that. That's Bob.
Yep. Okay.
Love
Yeah,
Bob.
I do follow him. Yeah.
Fat Perez is his boy.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So there was an episode, it was a random deal. It was the Breaking 90 guy, Trent from Barstool.
Oh, yeah.
And Fat Perez standing there talking. And it's maybe the best TikTok of all time, but they're talking about cinnamon rolls and what category, what's better than a cinnamon roll, what category are cinnamon rolls in.
I saw a little bit of that TikTok. Yeah.
It's the most fat guy conversation I've ever seen in my life. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so I got thinking about that. Like, I just made my day. But then I was making pancakes for my kid, and I was making silver dollar pancakes, which I've always thought were stupid, but they're not.
What are silver dollar pancakes?
The small ones.
Oh.
The small pancakes. I was like, why don't I just make a couple big pancakes? I'll tell you why. Because I have learned the greatest pancakes that you can buy in the wild are at the Cracker Barrel. Period. End of story. Cracker Barrel makes pancakes better than anybody. And the reason is they got a great batter, I guess, but they get the crispy edges on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have been chasing those crispy edges for years. I think I've figured out how they do it. I'm not sure if they do it the way I do it, but now I have mastered the crispy edges. It's a lot of butter. That's the way you
Yes.
do it. A lot of butter in the pan. And then when you go to flip, you get under, pick it up, and then butter, and then
Butter,
flip.
then down. Yep.
Right. And that's how you get the crispy edges. Well, with the silver dollar pancake, more crispy edge per bite per pancake.
That is true.
Pancakes, let's be honest, a regular pancake is boring. Like it's just it's a crispy edge on the pancake. That's not boring. That's delicious. So I got to thinking about that because my dad growing up, really the only thing he ever cooked was on Sunday mornings, about twice a month. I'd smell bacon. And my dad was making pancakes and bacon before church. Dad was the pancake maker. So I was just wondering, are pancakes a dad thing? Now, I'm not the only one in my house that makes pancakes, but I feel at my most dadness when I'm making a big stack of pancakes for my girls, when I'm making the chocolate chip pancakes for my daughter, when I'm making the blueberry pancakes for me and the wife or whatever. Like, I just wanted to ask you, like, is that a dad? Like, do you make, I know you cook. People don't know this about Bryce. Bryce and me share a love of cooking. Bryce takes it to another. Bryce makes bread. Bryce is an actual bread maker. Like he owns a bread making machine specifically for making bread. I have had Bryce's bread. He used it to cheat to beat me in a chili cook-off. It was delicious. And of all the ways you're going to cheat to beat me, you know what? You made bread, dude. Good for you. Like I brought some Fritos. Like you're good. You win. It's all good. But I was wanting to ask you, do you think pancakes are a dad thing?
You know, that's a tough question because I'm thinking about growing up, and when I was a little kid, the only time I had pancakes, my grandmother, I was the only child for a very very long time, so you could say I was possibly slightly spoiled a little bit.
Yeah.
And
As you should be.
I would get pancakes almost every single morning. I would wake up, and my grandmother, who would wake up, I don't actually know if she ever went to sleep. I don't know if she slept her entire life.
Right?
Yeah, dude. Like I'd wake up and she'd already been working in the garden for like 3 hours. I'm like, the sun has only been up for 30 minutes. What are you doing? But I would wake up, and as soon as I would wake up, she would come in and fix me blueberry pancakes every single morning. I spent a lot of summers with her, and every single morning it was blueberry pancakes. Every single morning, blueberry pancakes. And then I got a little bit older and I started playing football. And my mom found out that like the one stat, I was always an offensive lineman. The one stat for an offensive lineman was a pancake. So my mom, every single morning that I had a game, she would make me a bunch of pancakes. And she was like, good luck, whatever. So she would make that.
You had some good women in your life, Sparley.
Yeah, I did.
I'm digging this.
But like now that I'm a dad, I'm the breakfast guy. Like that's what I cook. That's my meal. A lot of unless we're grilling out, but I'm the breakfast guy usually because I wake up before Emily most of the time. And it is pancakes, and we've sort of carried on that tradition of when we have a football game. It's not that my son plays offensive line, but we carry on the tradition of pancakes. So yeah, maybe, man. Yeah, you might be right there. You might be right that's like a now. Do you cook your pancakes in like a pan? Because I really want to get a Blackstone and start.
I'm getting a Blackstone. I don't have one yet. Well, my issue right now is I'm working on waterproofing my deck so that I can put the Blackstone underneath. I'm really bad at covering my grills. I'm really bad at it, like because you can't cover it when it's hot, and then I go inside, and then I forget about it, and then it rains at night, and I got a rusty. Like I'm really bad at it. And so with the Blackstone, even when you cover it, I hear that it's a hard to not rust. That stuff. So hopefully we're going to get it waterproofed, and then this summer I'm going to have the Blackstone.
Sweet,
that's the deal. But currently, I was cooking them in a big cast iron skillet.
Okay.
I'm a big cast iron guy.
Yeah.
But my wife and daughter for Christmas got me a Hexclad pan.
Oh,
which
nice.
I love.
Sweet.
Love the Hexclad. I cook in it every day.
Yeah.
And so currently I can cook 3 silver dollar pancakes at a time in the Hexclad. They're perfect every time. And then I just wipe it out. Because what you got to do when you use that much butter, you got to wipe the pan out between every batch.
Yep.
Otherwise it's going to burn. The butter's going to burn. Like there's a system to this, and you got to be on
There's a method to the madness.
And it's easier to do that with the Hexclad than it is with the cast iron.
Yeah.
I also, by the way, was the only grandchild on half of my family for 5 glorious years. And then my sister came along, but she's a baby for 2 years. So
Yeah.
really 7 years.
Yeah.
I had them all to myself.
It was all you, baby.
My nana on my mom's side, on my dad's side, I've got a cousin that's a couple years older than me. Um, and he was like my grandpa's favorite,
Yeah.
right? But I was I don't care. My cousins can watch this. They know it's true. They won't admit it. My grandmother admitted it before she passed away. She admitted I was her favorite in a FaceTime call because it was during COVID,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she admitted I was her favorite. I got her to admit it, and it wasn't hard. She had a little bit of dementia, so she would just tell you the truth. I got her to admit it, but she would make me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. She would mix the peanut butter and the jelly in a bowl before she put it on the bread.
Oh, I've never done that.
Do you know why you've never done that?
No.
Because it's a ridiculous extra step.
So
It's a ridiculous extra step that adds nothing to the sandwich. Unless you're a 5-year-old little boy watching your nana do that little extra step, and you know the only reason she's doing it is because you're king of the daggone world.
yeah. Yeah.
I've never in my life felt more special than when Melba Rowland was mixing that peanut butter and jelly up in that bowl before she put it on the bread.
I remember my granddad, we would peanut butter and jelly all the time when we
Yeah.
were either that or like one slice of deli meat in bread. And I remember my granddad taking the knife and like getting every single square inch of each slice of bread. One slice was peanut butter, and it had peanut butter on every single piece of real estate, and the other one was jelly, and it had jelly on every single piece of real estate on that bread. And I remember growing up, and I still do it. If my wife calls me a maniac, I couldn't get down with that. That's a little bit too much structure in my life. I'm one slab of peanut butter here, one slab of mayonnaise here, smack them together, and
Peanut butter and mayonnaise.
I mean, it's jelly.
Okay, I thought you were
Jelly.
Elvising it up.
Jelly. No. Jelly. Excuse me. Peanut butter over here, jelly over here. I just throw it on that bread and then smash it together. And it'll work out in the end. I take big enough bites to where I get in the middle. It'll be all right.
Listen, to me, there is no amount of attention that is too much of attention that you pay to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's the king of all sandwiches. It will always be the king of all sandwiches. It is my favorite thing in the world. It is my go-to. I am a peanut butter. If you ever had somebody, if a genie came along and was going to give you whatever you wanted, however, they were going to take away one food that you could not have for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But before they told you what the food was, you get to protect one food that they can't touch. Mine is peanut butter.
Oh.
I would protect. Do not take peanut butter from me. You can take anything else because milk doesn't count as a food.
Yeah.
Because if you took away my milk, then my peanut butter is useless.
Right.
But I would protect peanut butter. It's my favorite food. Like, do not take peanut butter away from me.
I think I'd do cheese. I think cheese would be my number one. I'm a big cheese.
Cheese to me is a category.
Yeah.
I don't know that they could take away all the cheese. I think that'd be genie cheating.
Had to be like
Cheddar,
specific
Gouda.
cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, like you pick a cheese, genie. Like you can't take all the cheese.
I'm good with any cheese. So okay, then I wouldn't protect that then because you could, if you have three.
I could live without cheese. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I could live without cheese. Now, my snack of choice that like midnight, like I need a snack. I have a bunch of Guinness glasses. Thanks, Ty Cartwright. A lot of Guinness glasses.
Yeah.
A lot. And I believe that milk should be ice cold and in a real glass.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of drinking that real glass. I have two different sizes of Guinness glasses. I take the big Guinness glass, milk to the top. I get the jar of peanut butter, Peter Pan creamy. I get the sleeve of Ritz crackers. I get a knife and I grab the block of cheddar cheese. And I go sit in front of the TV and I'll eat peanut butter, crackers, and cheddar cheese until the milk's gone. When the milk's gone, the snack's over.
I can't tell you the last time I've drank milk out of anything other than the carton.
You savage. Oh,
They're really. It's
You
been
live with 8 people. You savage.
it's probably been 18 years maybe since I've actually poured myself a glass or a cup of milk.
Jimmy Buffett would be disappointed in you.
Just
Savage.
sort of tip it up. I'll tell you, you big peanut butter guy. I'll tell you one thing that you might want to try. I don't know if I've recommended this to you before, but I found this in college age. Peanut butter and Fritos scoops.
Yeah, you know what? You did tell me about that, and I have not been able to bring myself to do it.
Pretty good. And if you want to put a little square of Hershey's chocolate on top, kicks it up even a little bit more.
Well, I mean, peanut butter and chocolate, right?
Yeah.
What's better than that together?
Can't go
Like
wrong with that.
the people who discovered that should
Yeah.
have won a Nobel Prize. Whoever the first person to figure out peanut butter and chocolate together should win a Nobel Prize.
Yeah,
But
statues.
I got texture issues with the scoops. I like a Frito, the OG
Yeah.
Fritos, but the scoops are just too thick. There's just too much. They got too much ass to them,
Okay.
and it overpowers or whatever. My wife's favorite snack is the Fritos bean dip,
Oh
or
yeah.
just refried beans with Fritos dipped in it. That's her. She loves. That's a meal for her.
So you can also do this if you don't like the thickness of the Frito scoops. I've also done this in Dire Straits. You get the small bag of Fritos, not the scoops, just the normal ones. Get a spoon of peanut butter, dip the spoon in the peanut butter, and then dip it in the bag of Fritos, and then it comes out with a Fritos covered spoonful of peanut butter.
All right, maybe you're the one that should get the Nobel Prize. Did you know that if you're ever jammed up, I used to not go into the woods without a bag of Fritos, the little small bag of Fritos.
Yeah.
There's maybe no better fire starter on earth.
Then the bag, that plastic bag.
No,
Oh, the Fritos itself.
the Frito.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Hold on, I'll show you.
All right.
Hold on, I'll show you.
All
Just
right.
stand by for one
All
minute.
right. What's up, bud? How's Fernbank? Good. Yep. Go in. What is it? Oh, no, thank you. I'm good.
Episode 11, Casey makes Bryce edit everything. The title of episode 11 is going to be. All right. This will show you. I'm sure that sounds great.
Oh, yeah. Watch it.
Frito. All right.
Okay.
You're about to freak out. About to show you how much.
What is it? What is it like? The
Check
oil
it for
or
smoke
something like
detector.
that?
Yeah, bud.
What?
Well, of course, it's not working now. There we go. That Frito was going to burn like a candle.
How long? How long will it burn like that?
Let's find out, bud. What do you want to talk about now?
Oh my goodness. That is not, it's like a candle. It's legit like a candle.
A Frito corn chip is 50% corn and 50% oil.
Yeah, that is nuts. I never knew that.
Look how slow it's burning.
I mean, that's like good tinder. You get
It's great tender.
yeah, you get a handful of that. That's fantastic tinder.
2 of them.
Huh. I
Blew your mind, didn't it?
never knew that. Yeah. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, that's a trick that hippies like me who spend a lot of time in the woods know.
So you had a question for me. Now I got a question for you, and this just came out today. And I don't know how I feel about this. I haven't made up my mind. Hopefully I can make up my mind on this podcast. Hey, Will.
Well, it's kid day.
Yeah, I know. That's what
Bring your kid to work day.
that's what happens when we record later in the afternoon. You want to come say hey?
Hey, baby girl, you can't hear me, but you look beautiful and I love you.
On a farm bank. Good. Love you. The Abby leave.
They went to Fernbank?
Yeah, they were going to go to the zoo today, and
Fernbank's better.
there was a big water main break, and the zoo and
Good.
the aquarium were closed, so they went to Fernbank.
I hate the zoo.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either.
I hate zoos. I've never been to a zoo where I was excited that I was there. The
Well,
aquarium, I'm all in, but
I don't like the
zoo,
aquarium. It's
zoo.
it's expensive, and the big attractions not very big. But
I can sit in that room though with that big tank and just sit there for an hour and be
yeah,
happy.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you asked me a question. I got a question for you. I just saw this today. I think the news just came out today or yesterday, and I just saw it today, and I'm not 100% sure how I feel or what my answer is going to be to this question. I've been thinking about it, and
Sure.
I'm still like 50-50. So we just got news from the GHSA today that the football playoffs will no longer take place on Thanksgiving week. Uh,
Just this year.
just is it just this year or is
Yeah.
it forward?
Yeah. It's just this year.
Did we get assurance that they're not going to do it next year?
There's no assurance, but it's because of the availability of the dome. It's multifaceted. So, do you want to continue, or do you
Yeah.
want
So
me to?
my question is, do you like? Should this be something going forward?
No,
The GHSA takes into consideration skipping that week.
no.
I think I agree. Um, I I never made it that far in the high school football playoffs, but we've had football teams around here that have, and every time I talk to them, they always do something team related, and it's always really cool and a great bonding experience for them. And in my opinion, that's a badge of honor that you're going to carry with you the rest of your life. Is yeah, I was practicing Thanksgiving weekend. You always knew if you were practicing Thanksgiving weekend, you were a damn good team. I remember we used to sell Christmas trees to raise money for the football team, and I remember we'd be selling Christmas trees and a couple of people would be in a little trailer we had watching football games, Thanksgiving weekend. And like that was always a badge of honor. Like I practiced during Thanksgiving weekend.
I, I'm conflicted on this. This is a complicated issue this year, and I have been looking at it a lot. My initial reaction is this. You know, the Thanksgiving walkthrough is special. The
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving morning walkthrough and then going to eat turkey is special.
Mm-hmm.
However, it does put a ton of pressure on the families of the kids who are playing.
Yep.
Like you can't. It also puts a ton of pressure on the guys who work the games, the officials, the coaches, the band, and the broadcasters.
Mm-hmm.
For the last how many years? Because this year it was going to be the semifinals, which I don't remember the semifinals ever being Thanksgiving week. Mm-hmm. Normally it was the second or third round was the week of Thanksgiving. But this year's the what they're putting off a week is the semifinals. It's the Final Four.
Yeah.
Which I don't ever. I'm sure it's happened, but I don't ever remember it.
It's always the third round, I think. At least when I was
for me, it was third round because if you were practicing the week of Thanksgiving, I mean, you made it to the quarters.
Yes,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Now they're still going to practice the week of Thanksgiving.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. They won't practice on Thanksgiving Day. They'll probably give them off Thursday, Friday, which is not the worst thing. Now you have it's so complicated. Now you have an off week in the middle of the playoffs. Like, and it all has to do is multifaceted, but it mainly has to do with the availability of the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Yeah.
Because of where the SEC championship game is, and maybe an Atlanta United game or something, they were going to have to push it back a week. And the GHSA had been saying internally, from my understanding, that it was going to be Thanksgiving. They were going to take the week off. And then, in my opinion, UGA made the decision for them.
Yeah.
It was released yesterday. To me, it's not a coincidence. It happened in the same day. It was released yesterday that the Georgia Tech game will be played the Friday after Thanksgiving at 7:30 in Athens. And I lost my mind. I got mad. When I saw that, I got mad. I'm no longer mad. But to the idea that the University of Georgia would play Georgia Tech night on a Friday night during the high school playoffs made me want to punch someone in the face. I was so angry because it's a huge moneymaker for those schools. Like, it's a big gate. We have done Final Four football the last 3 years. It's it's the best.
Packed.
It's
Standing room
packed.
only hours
It's
before the game
cold.
starts.
It's cold.
It is
It's
cold.
outside. The winner goes to the state championship game. Like
It's
the
cold.
stakes are high. It is amazing. My favorite thing to do is go back to 2 years ago. The Lincoln County. My favorite call I've ever had was Lincoln County Bowden Final Four.
It's the greatest football atmosphere I've ever experienced in my entire life, and I've been in
Right.
some insanely good football atmospheres.
It's my favorite call, not because it's my best, because it's not. But when I listen back to it, the emotion in my voice from the moment we come on the air until the end was not something that I did intentionally. It was so loud. It was so stinking loud.
It was nuts.
It was electric. Like the whole building, Warren P. Sewell Field was on fire. You're talking about the Bowden Red Devils, the Lincoln County Red Devils, with Larry Campbell and Dwight Hostetler standing behind me together. Two of the top 4 winningest coaches in the history of high school football.
It was standing room only 2 hours before kickoff.
Listening to that game and hearing my voice, I hear 50,000 things I wish I'd have done differently. But it makes me smile because I get to remember what that atmosphere was.
Yeah.
And to put Georgia Tech at night on a Friday would have taken away from the game. There's plenty of people who would not have been there, who would have stayed home to watch the Dogs rule the Yellow Jackets. But so what I think happened was GHSA was kicking it around. When are we going to do the off week the first week of the playoffs, or maybe before round 2? Or are we going to give the off week before the championship game, which gives you like 2.5 weeks off because they play at the middle of the week now?
Yeah.
Or do we do it during Thanksgiving when we can take some pressure off of these parents for the Final Four? But we have to have a week. Now, what they could do is they could not play football games on July 20th. They could just push the season back to where it was, have 1 off week instead of 2 during the season, and play 5 straight rounds of playoffs. That's what they could do.
That would make too much sense, Casey.
They could go to 7 classifications, which we already have. They could stop calling it 6. They could just use common sense and have 7 stinking classifications and tell the Hurd County Braves and the Bremen Blue Devils and the Temple Tigers that you're AA schools, which they are. They could do that. They could push don't play football in August. They could start in September, and then they could do that, but they didn't because they know better. So they're in a pickle.
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure out, and I got a feeling that they had kind of circled that week and that was the soft decision. They had maybe a month to figure out. And then Georgia Tech got announced because they were announcing all the game times yesterday, and they were just like, all right, well, we're going to lose money if we do it that night. So that's a big moneymaker for the GHSA too. Yeah. They control the gate in the playoffs. So, it kind of all took care of itself. For me, I'm happy about it. The more I've thought about it, because for the first time in 15 years, so we've gotten lucky the last 2 years in that Bowden just doesn't lose coin flips.
Yeah.
They just don't. They are legitimately undefeated in the last 2 years on football coin flips. Hadn't lost one. So they've been at home.
Yeah.
So that's been helpful. But on Thanksgiving, which is my favorite day of the year, I go to Dublin, Georgia. That's where I go. And I'm going to be there. And so there were many times in my radio career where the teams that I was covering did not win the coin toss in the 3rd round. And so I would have to go to Dublin on Thursday, drive home, drop my family off, and then turn around and leave again and go to Early County or Dublin.
Wilcox.
I did it one time where I had to go back to Dublin. I think that was the Enema game. The Bremen Dublin, I think, was the 3rd round. Maybe been Thanksgiving week. But it was playoffs. So it may have been like I turned around and went back. Anyway, I'm not going to have to do that this year. I get a Friday off. Like it's stupid. I don't like it. I think they could just start the season later.
Yeah.
I don't like them being at the Dome, but again, I feel like I really, 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 really feel strongly about playing state championships on campuses.
I agree.
It's never going to happen. So the Mercedes-Benz Dome is 1,000 times better than playing at Turner Field. Um, weather's notoriously bad in the middle of December.
Yeah.
It's rain. It's going to be icy rain.
Listen,
Outside.
I was one of the proponents of moving this championship games to the dome last year. Um, and I will see what it's like this year, but I'll raise my hand and say I'm pretty sure I was wrong on
Well,
that
you
change.
listen. There's again a lot of things that go into it. For me, as a guy who's a coach at heart,
Yeah.
like I'm just a coach at heart, and a lot of my friends, a lot of my best friends are football coaches. For you, a lot of your friends are football coaches. These guys work nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah.
The week of the state championship game, when it's at the what used to be the dome, and then now is at Mercedes Benz, is like a little holiday for them, where they all go there with their wives. They get a hotel room, and all of their other buddies they don't see all year, coaching buddies, are there, and they can hang out and they can go out and they can watch some games together, and they can like it's the 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 event. I think, and I may be speaking out of class, but I think it's an important one for the coaches. I think the coaches who aren't in the state championship game, which is everybody except for two teams in the classification, right? So
Yeah.
it's everybody except for 14 teams.
Yeah.
So everybody except for 14 coaching
Don't you
staffs
12? We only have 6 classes.
are done. Well, and flag football now,
That's true.
which is cool. But if you didn't make the state championship game, it's almost everybody is with you. So they can go and have a little vacation and do whatever. They do it in the middle of the week now, though, which stinks.
A little weird. Yeah.
To have to take off from school. I feel like football coaches should, if you're a staffed football coach, you should get off work paid for the length of time for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of
You're in a state championship game? Absolutely. Yeah.
No, if you're not in the game, every high school football coach in the state of Georgia should get the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off paid the week of the championship, so that they can go. They go nonstop, dude. And that is their time to blow off steam with their friends. Like, it's psychologically important to release.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do that. Like if I was a football coach and I didn't make it to the championship, the last place I would want to be is at a championship game watching someone else play.
They're not there a lot.
Yeah.
That's what you got to. They're. It's the excuse to go, right?
Yeah.
But you got to remember, there's 7 football games going on, right? Like, so maybe you don't go watch your classification, but you're going to have a buddy coaching, right? You're going to have friends that are coaching that you want to pull for.
Yeah.
You're a high school football coach. You're obsessed with football anyway. You're going to watch ball. The good thing about the Mercedes-Benz Dome is you can move around, kind of sit wherever you want. The prices of these concessions are really good.
Mm-hmm.
The parking's easy. It's there, and
the logistics were fantastic. I'll get you.
Stay at the Omni. You can stay at the Omni. You got a big screen. It's just great. My favorite thing to do, I love to go for the whole time and just sit in a different place. I just move around by myself and sit in different places and just watch. So it's complicated for me. Like, I see all sides of it.
Right. That's what I said.
And the fact that they're getting charged $600,000 to be there is an Arthur Blank thing that I have an issue with.
Yeah,
but like it really bothers me. They use public money to build that building.
I wish Athens was a more central location for everybody in the state. It's not. It's not that wouldn't be an option. I don't think it ever would be. But I think that would be the coolest.
And it would be tough. Logistics would be tough.
Horribly tough.
It's cold. It's gonna be cold. And if you're gonna go watch 3 games in a day, like football fans go and watch, like I'll go and watch 3 games in a day. You're sitting out there for 12 hours in the cold. If it rains,
where do you think they have the Ohio State high school championship?
Nobody cares.
They have it in Akron.
Nobody cares.
Listen,
it's Ohio football. Nobody cares. Kirk Herbstreit proved.
Have you been up to a high school?
Yes, I have been. I have been to Massillon, Washington High School. Fool. I have been to the high school.
Not Massillon anymore.
Ohio. It's just I'm sorry,
or
Washington High School.
whatever it's called now.
The Tigers from Washington at Paul Brown Stadium. I've been there. Don't preach to me about Ohio football. I
It's
know Ohio
packed.
football. They sit
Packed.
firmly. They have earned their right to be the sixth or seventh best state for high school football in the country.
I would say fourth.
You would be wrong.
Who was ahead of them?
Georgia,
Yes,
Texas,
yes,
California,
yes.
New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Florida, and then
New Jersey, Pennsylvania, absolutely not.
somewhere in there you get Ohio. Somewhere in there you get Ohio. The biggest schools they have are 1,400 students, which is great. That's not a shot at Ohio. They should be. Like I don't like these 5,000 student schools.
They're
Massillon's got like 1,200.
they are hemorrhaging people. The state is.
Because the football sucks.
Well, it's because nobody wants to live in. It's because nobody wants to live 9 months out of the year when it's freezing damn cold.
Yeah, like you just play inside. It's so interesting fact about Massillon. The guy who owned one of the record stores back when I was a kid that was in the mall. I don't remember which one, but one of the big ones.
Yeah.
That was all over the country.
Yeah.
Was a graduate of Massillon Washington High School.
Oh, cool.
Where Paul Brown coached, where Paul Brown Stadium is, and it's beautiful. And he wanted to make a donation so they could build an indoor facility. And he had one requirement. You know what that requirement was?
I do.
The requirement was that the facility be bigger than the Woody Hayes Center at Ohio State. So this 1,200 student school, I'm sure it's not the case anymore, but when they built this thing, it was bigger than the Woody Hayes Center. And this cat stroked a check for it. And they practice every sport in there. It's huge. I've been in there. It's amazing. Like they've got batting cages and a full 100-yard field and the roof through the. I mean, you can punt. You can't. Good luck, Pat McAfee hitting the roof. I'm sure you can do it, but you got to try. Like it's wild, that facility. Wild.
I think the Woody Hayes Center just surpassed it, but like
barely
that long ago. Like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I remember hearing a radio story on their sports talk radio up there, but it was like 3 or 4 years ago that they just passed the indoor facility for Massillon.
For those of y'all listening, Georgia folks who don't know what Massillon Washington High School is, that's where Paul Brown coached from. The stadium's Paul Brown Stadium, and they are the second winningest high school program in the country all time, behind obviously the Valdosta Wildcats. So Valdosta's number one, Massillon's number two. It's a prolific program.
I wonder where Matter Day's at in that most prolific, most wins ever for high school football. I would think Matter would be up there.
Nerd, do the Google.
Oh, well, yeah. What,
Al Gore's internet is right in front of your face.
Yeah, so Valdosta, when was this article came out? Oh, perfect. This article came out last year. I just want a list. I don't want so yeah, Valdosta is number 1 at 944.
940 what?
944. Massillon's actually been passed, but it's tooth and nail right now.
By who?
Mail out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Nobody cares about Kentucky football.
I never even heard of them.
They don't count.
They're at 937. And also in Kentucky, Mayfield.
I love their ice cream, but boo.
Once again, never heard of them. Massillon at number 3 with 932. Another Kentucky team, Highlands at 920.
Nate Moore is the coach at Massillon, and he is awesome. And Massillon has a Nike contract where Phil flies Nate out to Oregon a couple times a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Highland Park is up here. I've heard of them. They're at 8. McKinley's another big Ohio one at 10.
Mater Day's probably just young. Like they've been playing football forever in Valdosta and
that's like Steubenville. Steubenville's 14. I think they've been playing football since football was invented.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to see what other than Valdosta, if there was any other Georgia teams on here.
Lincoln County.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't see them. How many wins does Lincoln County have off?
I don't know, but Larry Campbell's got four something.
LaGrange is at 45.
The Grangers.
Grangers, the LaGrange Grangers at 791 all
There
time.
was a period of time where, and not that long ago, what, 20 years ago, when LaGrange was ridiculously dominant.
Really?
Carrollton couldn't get by LaGrange. LaGrange was the and maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I remember when I first moved to West Georgia that LaGrange was the thorn in Carrollton's side.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. LaGrange was ridiculously powerful. They were sending, it was like there was a pipeline between LaGrange High School and Kentucky, the University of Kentucky. They're just shoop, 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 back and forth.
So our Carrollton Trojans are at 116 in the country. Cartersville's up there. Woodward Academy, we don't recognize them as being a real school. Thomasville, Marist.
Thomasville's a good one.
Yeah.
Marist, hey, Marist, I give grace to in the private school world. They've always played at the highest or close to highest level, and their coach is amazing, and they run the option. So,
well, good for them. Go run the option in private school land.
As long as, listen, I don't care. As long as you play 5A and up, go for it. Like I'm whatever, but I don't want to see private schools playing public schools in 3A and down.
Yeah.
Just don't want to see it.
Like what Temple ran into in the playoffs a couple years ago in basketball.
Right. And just,
yeah, it's uncalled for. All right. What's your happy thing for this week, man?
Man, I got so many.
Good problem to have.
I may have typed it in here. Hold on.
2 weeks.
I had one that I didn't want to forget. Had a great week. I'm going to go NCAA 25, which we didn't even talk about, which I thought would be the whole episode, but we got in the grocery stores. That's on me.
So yeah, we need to have maybe next week's bro therapy might be an entire episode of NCAA 25.
My happy thing is very specific about what I've heard about the game. Two things. One, that the running of the football is a very smooth process and that it rewards you for running to your blocking and punishes you for not, which is a huge change. And you have to understand when I play video game football, we run the damn ball.
Yeah. Triple option.
We run the option.
Yeah, I love it.
I was terrified that they were going to ignore it. They made it better.
It seems like that was like they're
focused on the option.
Yeah. Like we got to make this right.
There's different pitches. You can, just like throwing the ball down the field, you can affect your pitch with the way that you press the X or whatever button. And you can run RPO because, listen, people, nothing is new in football. RPO is the triple damn option.
Brand new. They just created a couple years ago.
It's the triple option. You got midline, you put it in the guy's belly, you're reading him. If somebody tackles him, you pull it. If somebody comes to tackle you, instead of pitching it behind you, you pitch it forward to a guy on a slant. Instead of a backwards pass, instead of a backwards flip, it's a forward pass. It is the stinking triple option. It's illegal because there's always somebody downfield, but we'll talk about that later. But I give them grace because it's the triple option. And it's the greatest play in football is the triple option, which includes the best play in football, which is the midline. But it's inside option, inside veer, whatever you want to call it, inside trip, which goes midline to the edge. Tracy Ham, my childhood. I cannot freaking wait to get my hands on this game. My wife keeps going, my birthday's next week. What do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday? I'm like,
PS5.
I want AAA.
PS5. I want a PS5.
No, I've got a PS5. My kid got it.
Oh, boom. There you go.
Yeah, Santa Claus. Thank you, Santa.
Now I'm trying to convince my neighbor, my umpiring neighbor, to was trying to convince him and his girlfriend. I'm like, he needs one. Like, come on. It's been so long since he had a.
I haven't played video game football in 10 years. 12 years. Like I don't play video games anymore. I'm going to get this game. That's all I want. That's what I told them. Just whatever. I know it comes out in July. My birthday's next week. It's fine. I'm old. I don't need anything.
Sit here and wait.
That game and permission to play it. Right. That's what I want for my birthday.
That's what you
got to get. The game and permission to play it.
That's the kicker right there. Yeah.
Right.
Get the game and the permission. You got to get both of those. Got to make.
Because I have to learn. Right. Like I got to sit down and learn, teach myself how to play the thing, so that I can then play my friends online and not be embarrassed.
To me, what it sounds like is you just need to come over to my house and we just have a bro weekend where we play college football just all weekend.
What's great is that is the sixth invitation for that exact thing that I've gotten. Our generation is so fired up about this video game.
I'm jacked up, dude. I cannot wait.
I
I'm
could
so
give
excited.
three craps about Madden. I
Yeah.
don't care about the NFL. I don't care about Madden. I
So
realize
yeah,
they took the high school part out of NCAA, but I don't care.
yeah,
Give
I'm
me
not that upset
NCAA.
about it. It stinks. It stinks, but I'm not terribly upset about that. There's no ESPN score bug.
Don't care.
There's no mascot game, which
There's a score bug. It's just not ESPN.
right. It's not ESPN. Yeah.
The mascot game's a gimmick you do once.
Yeah, the mascots games were fun to play with your kids or something. So
Yeah.
I gotta check the dates. I gotta check the dates on this, but I think NCAA coming out lines up perfectly. My wife is taking a teacher's beach trip down to Panama City for a couple days, and I'm like 90% sure that the dates are going to line up quite perfectly. That NCAA is going to come out when she's in Panama City on our teacher's beach trip.
By the way, according to El Presidente,
Yeah.
Billy Lindahl is a terrible Madden player. Or maybe they were playing NCAA 14. They may have been playing 14. I don't know if they're either playing 14 or they were playing Madden. And he beat Billy like 54-6 or something. Like, I got a 20-minute explanation of how bad Billy was at video game football yesterday from Clay Harden.
Ah,
And I was about to wet my
oh,
pants. I was
oh
laughing so hard.
goodness. That's great. That's
Casey, he just got into 4-3. He just got into 4-3 cover two and stayed in it. He just stayed in it the whole time. Like he just stayed in it. I just kept running the ball up the middle. Just kept running the ball up the middle. He goes, finally, he got into a 5-man front on a 3rd and 2. And
gotta go with that 3-4.
and then I realized that I have a hot button with 4 verticals and I busted him for 62. And I'm sitting there going, poor Billy.
Just struggling.
He goes, how could Billy watch this much football and not know what cover 3 is?
You got to run those 2 dimes Tampa 2, man. That's what you got to run. Those that Tampa 2 defense, you can disguise it in 35 different ways. I love that defense.
I'm just going to run option at you. I'm just going to run option at you and play defense. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to run the football.
It's going to
run the clock. People hate playing.
It's Iowa. It's going to be like playing Iowa.
I'm absolutely Iowa. Absolutely. I'm going to control the clock. I'm going to manage my timeouts. I'm going to drive you stinking insane. You're going to want to kill yourself. I'll be 16-0. I'll average 17 points a game.
I don't know. I think that might be high. 17 points per game might be a little high.
Touchdown in the first half, field goal at the end of the first half, touchdown in the second half. 17 points.
2 touchdowns and a field goal. There you go.
That means you got to score 3 times to beat me. Good luck.
Good luck getting the ball enough to score 3 times.
Well, they also said that just the hit stick, like that they have changed the tackling to where physics matter.
I like that. Yeah.
I love that.
You can't just hit stick somebody every single
time. Which you know where that works well for?
Yeah.
People who run the football. Like everything I'm hearing is like these 4 vertical guys are screwed. Everything I'm hearing is run the damn ball.
Yep. That's it.
Which is the way it ought to be. Run the football, baby.
Yeah, my happy thing I think is we are in the midst of All-Star baseball season, and it's fun for me to watch how my boys have progressed. Not like talent wise, but just understanding the game and the way how they perceive the game differently the older they get. Like, you know, they still want to win, obviously, but it's not all about winning, and they're just understanding the nuances of baseball a little bit more the older they get, and enjoying little things here or there, and being able to cut up in a game. Like yesterday, we had a second game, and my oldest son, he sometimes he can play 2 games in a row, sometimes he can't. So he was in the dugout with us last night, and you know, we were struggling a little bit, and he was just sort of in the dugout, sitting right next to me, keeping track of pitches and, you know, making jokes here or there, kind of cutting up. And it's just kind of it's fun, and it's cool to see them mature and grow up and understand and love a game in a different way now that they're getting older. And it's just fun to witness that, you know, just sort of be around and witness witness something through their eyes. And it's been a lot of fun. We're going back out there on Saturday. Hopefully we get a long day on Saturday. But yeah, that's been fun seeing that.
Being dad's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I don't understand guys who aren't dad. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I understand guys who aren't a dad,
Right.
but guys
Right.
who have children who and I've often said this that I don't really know any of them
Yeah.
because bad dads do not hang around with good dads
Very
because
true.
good dads do what we're doing. We talk about our kids. Like
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
our whole life. It's what we're happiest about. It's what drives us as our children. And we talk about our children. That's the center of our universe.
Yeah.
Bad dads can't stand it. They hear it and they just feel terrible. And that's why your milieu is a bunch of good dads.
Yeah.
Like all of my friends are great dads.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's not that we don't let the bad dads just like, this is not
Sort of
my group. They
sort
drift out.
themselves out.
And I don't even think they know why. I
Yeah.
think it's just subconsciously they're uncomfortable and they
Yeah.
just drift out. But I also think there aren't that many of them. I think it's an overblown statistic perpetuated by 90 sitcoms.
Fox
I don't
News.
know. I don't know. It's every your reality is what you're in, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's true.
obviously there's deadbeat dads and deadbeat moms and all
Oh
that
yeah.
exists, but
Yeah.
they're missing out. They're missing out.
Yeah.
My kid's awesome.
Yeah.
Like she's the best. Every time I get to feeling like a piece of crap, I just go, well, at least I had some part in that,
Yeah.
right? Like,
That's pretty successful over there. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like she at least okay, I didn't screw that up too bad.
Oh man. All right, you got anything else for bro therapy? Episode 11 sticks today. 11.
Show and tell.
Oh,
Since we're
show and
doing
tell.
since we're doing cold beer, my my desk cup
Yeah.
is can you read that?
Cheers.
Yeah, that's from Cheers Boston, which isn't a real bar, but there's a bar
I like
in
that show.
Boston
I like
that
Cheers.
looks like Cheers, and they market as Cheers, and you feel like you're sitting at the Cheers bar.
Pretty cool.
And I was there with my boy Chris Cartwright, and right before we bought tickets for a Red Sox, we didn't even realize the Red Sox were playing. We
Yeah,
were
of
just sitting there having a drink at the Cheers bar because that was the thing to do. We're there for a trade show,
course.
and we heard them talking about the Red Sox playing, and I wanted as a joke to see how expensive tickets would be. And we sat 5 rows up on the third base line for $22. I was like, we kind of have to go now.
Jeez, dude.
Like
Yeah, dang.
and so we went to Fenway right after that. So that's my show and tell. Pretty cool
That's pretty
little
cool.
mug that I use for my pens.
Once again, my show and tell is in my wife's car.
You really suck at this, buddy.
I know.
Like you really need to clean your wife's car out.
She's out
She is not your pack mule, Bryce.
she,
Every stinking week.
she's out kayaking. Her and her group of teacher friends went out kayaking today in Alabama. So this is something that was made for me. This was made for me. What's up, bud? What you got there?
You got a show and tell?
The the zoo was closed due to a water outage.
Yeah.
So to this dinosaur museum thing,
Uh-huh.
and got this rock.
Did you steal a fossil?
Oh,
Oh.
and you get a hammer and you smash it,
Oh.
and it has like stuff inside.
Oh, really?
Diamonds.
Oh, cool, bud. Yep.
Honestly,
There's a couple out in the garage. I'll come help you find if you can't find one here in a second. But yeah, there's some hammers out there.
Hammer time. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Hammer time. So yeah, my show and tell is something that was made for me. This was, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe. My daughter's gotten really into Legos lately, which I was big into Legos. Both the boys are really into Legos. And she made me this little prancing unicorn to sit on my desk.
Because
So-
you are a prancing unicorn, my friend.
Yeah, this is my spirit animal right here. It is a prancing unicorn, and it sits right on top of my computer with my little Tiger Woods bobblehead doll that Abner got me.
I have a unicorn that my daughter gave me when she was 3 years old that sits on my dash of my truck in the little divot. It has been there
That's what I ought
for
to do with
10
this.
years.
That's what I ought to do with this. I like that idea, man.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
faded, but it's been there for 10 years.
My spirit animal,
That's awesome.
rainbow unicorn.
That's cool, man.
All right, you got anything else for today?
I'm good, brother. I love you.
Love you, dude. This has been episode 11 of Bro Therapy's Bass and the Bear, sponsored by Marine South. What are you doing this weekend? You got any big plans?
Got me to go to Publix in Villarica. Sounds like mine. Just
Perfect.
chilling, hanging around the house.
I love it. That's the perfect weekend. Remember, folks, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. And as always, fins up.
Love you, mean it.